Wamuchomba.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I rise to support this report that emanated from the committee that I serve in. And I am very glad that I sat into the presentations, listening to all the submissions that were done by the stakeholders and the honorable members of this House from the region who dedicatedly submitted all the concerns. And I'm glad that finally today we are actually sitting here to say, yes, the report is the way to go. Honorable Speaker, every big project of this nature normally do have what we call the baseline survey, a survey that is done before the investment is done to advise the investor and the government on the modules that are going to be used to recover the money that has been invested. I am not so sure whether the baseline survey that was done was actually a clear picture of the scenario on the ground. Because even after we have done all this manner of investment and level of investment, it is very clear there were some things that were overrun or overlooked and assumed. And that is what I call the socio-economy. The socio-economy of the SGR project from Mombasa all the way to Nairobi, I do not think that it was taken care of properly. And I would want to understand, if there was a consultant who was involved, how the report was given and how it was put into implementation. The reason why I'm raising the issue of social impact, it is because, Mr. Speaker, I am aware, and I guess members of this House also are aware, that there are so many small businesses that were dependent on the traditional mode of transportation from Mombasa to Nairobi, using the road transport. There are young men who sell roasted maize. There are young women who sell maize, milk. There are men and women who ferry load the cargo to the trucks. There are mechanics who takes care of those trucks along the road all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi. That socio-economy was completely blacked out when the directive to use SGR was given. And therefore, I'm very excited that finally the committee in charge of transport and infrastructure in the National Assembly, chaired by our Honorable Chair, has sat down and analyzed the cost of social impact that has been interfered with by the forceful use, the order to forcefully use SGR for transporters. I also do not think that a proper sensitization of stakeholders was done properly, Mr. Speaker, because sensitization would actually have given the gains of using SGR to the stakeholders so that they can make decisions on what to use, whether use SGR or use the road. And therefore, I still feel that even in future, as we revisit this issue, we would want to make sure that the sensitization of all stakeholders has been done properly so that we can be able to advise accordingly. Mr. Speaker, the law of feasibility states that when you lower the redundant variables, as you introduce the catalyst variables, you must make sure that you balance the equation. It is very clear that we introduced a new variable into the transport industry, but we never considered on how to withdraw the existing variable. And every time you create that kind of an imbalance, Mr. Speaker, you create confusion. And that confusion resulted in total costs increase, losses, and many other issues that we have had the stakeholders complain about. I rise to support this report, into the adoption of this report, because I think that's the way to go. And I want to congratulate the honorable member who brought this matter into the attention of this House, because finally, justice is going to be served to the stakeholders of the industry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Nabonyikal.